Welcome back to Soccer Cards United. This is episode 137 of the best little soccer card podcast in the world. My name is Jason. Over there, that's Enzo. Hi, Enzo.
Hello, Jason.
Now, Enzo, we spent the weekend together with our mate Faye in London for the London Card Show.
It was very nice.
It was very nice.
To spend the weekend with you, Jason?
Oh, what a thrill. We could do a charity auction or something.
Oh my God.
If funds ever got tight. We were in London for the London Card Show, and this episode is going to be a recap of that.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen too much going on. Like, we've been in full since Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We were full on. Now it's Monday.
Thursday we were in prep mode.
Yeah,
which is why there was no podcast.
Very sorry about that. But yeah, it was crazy.
It was a crazy weekend. It was a very fun weekend. It was a great card show.
It really was.
And we're going to just kind of talk about some aspects of it, including a lot of the deals that we did, because we did a huge amount of deals.
Some controversial deals on the Twitter. We asked people to rate all of our deals, and there was one that I think people got a bit off.
Yeah.
They really went at us, Jason. They really gave us what they thought. They said
Yeah, I'm actually going to pull that whole Twitter fiasco up.
Oh, we had to try to defend ourselves. On this show, we'll be defending ourselves in that specific deal.
Yeah.
Because in fairness, I understand. They're not like...
No, I understand, but there's good points made on both sides of this.
I agree with that.
That's
what made it a very interesting, polarizing deal.
Yes. So, it tells you a lot about how you see this deal, tells you a lot about where you kind of are at in the hobby, I think. You know?
Interesting.
Anyway, so first off, I just want to say that the venue this time, it was still Sandown Racecourse outside London, but they'd moved from, I believe it was from Esher Hall to, I don't know what it was. It was like two different small
Upstairs.
hall to a big hall upstairs.
Do you know what? I had one criticism of the venue.
Okay, tell us the criticism.
Upstairs, but I don't know if it's the exact same venue. They're owned by the same people.
It's all the same racecourse.
Great.
Yeah.
Upstairs is a bigger section, bigger room, bigger venue. Smaller toilet facilities.
Is it?
Yeah, downstairs was a really, really comprehensive toilet facility. And upstairs it was less so. With a higher volume of people. So
a greater density.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. My only criticism, apart from that, was amazing. And then one of the best parts was that the food truck was so close.
And there was two of them because it increased.
And I guess our table was actually close to the... Maybe that's why.
That
was very easy to get a burger.
You could have been over the other side of the room.
Could have been harder for me.
Yeah. We didn't have to fight elbow our way through the room to try and get a burger.
Not quite. It was great.
So there was that, and it was definitely the biggest European card show to date.
Yes.
Somebody remarked to me over the weekend, and by the way, during this conversation, we're going to be talking a lot about other conversations we had, other deals we did, and interactions we had. We're generally going to avoid naming people because if we don't, if you're listening to this and we describe a conversation we had with you, you know who you are, but I don't want to name some people and not name other people. Because that might make the people who I don't name feel as if they didn't make an impression.
You're not getting involved in politics, you're saying.
So for the,
Okay, all right, I like that.
What was I saying? So I was talking to someone and they said this feels the closest thing to like an American card show in terms of the scale.
Yeah.
And that we've seen. I mean, Munich was kind of similar. Smaller, but a similar vibe.
No, I think it was very... I didn't see the corporate section in Munich, so I can't speak to that.
There was a big corporate section. But
yeah, I didn't see that. So without seeing that, it didn't feel the same to me.
Yeah. We had a lot of corporate representation. There was eBay. eBay had a claw machine.
Yeah. I didn't get to see it.
A lot of traction.
A lot of traction.
Yeah.
Do you know what was in it? No?
I think it was, you could... Basically, like you were trying to pick up like orbs.
Yeah.
And then it came out of the machine and you opened it like a Kinder Surprise. And there was like a fortune cookie and it said what you'd won.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you took that voucher and you went to it's very complicated.
Yeah, isn't.
But a claw machine's always fun. So I didn't get to use it, but I looked.
That would have been good fun.
Yeah,
to get to use that. There was Golden was there.
Golden was there. Yeah.
Not Ken himself.
No, but there was some representatives of Golden.
There was a whatnot area.
There was a whole whatnot area.
There was a whatnot stand and there was a whatnot corner.
Yeah, they had and they had one of those cool balloon displays.
Oh,
the big balloon gate.
I remember at the National Whatnot had a huge present.
Yeah,
with that kind of woodeny. I don't even know what to call it.
It was like a. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Come on.
Sorry, my phone.
Airplane mode, please. That's silence. Not airplane.
Silent at least. So yeah, I'm trying to think. So there was all these different companies around. Then obviously you had different vendors and stuff. But it was very good. It was definitely a bigger show than last time.
Yeah, in October. Quick turnaround, kind of.
Quick turnaround. Lots of attendees, lots of vendors. But the vendor kind of grew more in the TCG side. I felt like there was
huge TCG representation.
Huge TCG representation.
Huge. I actually got involved.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I actually, so me, Jason, and Faye, it's a different dynamic when there's three of us traveling. I think
It's completely different.
Jason gets bullied more so than me and him just having conversations.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I think you and Faye are a little...
a duo.
Yeah.
You feel like we get you.
I think you tried to get me.
Oh, we don't bother you.
No.
Because we're good people. It's nice. So yeah, me and Faye were talking about Pokemon.
Yes.
I can't remember how it came up. We were talking about Pokemon, and Jason was very, to our surprise, very on the outskirts in his Pokemon knowledge, I would say. There was a lot of holes in it.
Yeah. And this was not only that there was holes in it.
I told him to grow up.
But this was you couldn't get two of you couldn't get over this.
But yeah,
how do you not know?
We start
about
asking
Pokemon?
him who's number 4 on the Pokedex. We start trying to who's number 151 on the Pokedex. He just about got it, just about.
Yeah, you gave me a clue. You said you probably know who it is.
You probably know who 151 is.
But I tell you this, I didn't know he was 151. I worked it out from context clues.
So that says a lot. So
I'm not remembering anything.
So we asked Jason what his favorite Pokemon was.
Yeah,
which is
Diglett.
Came out as Diglett. Anyway, terrible stuff. Terrible. It was that was controversial. We got through it. But then throughout the day, I then became obsessed. My favorite Pokemon is Squirtle. So I was like saying to Faye, who was going around doing a few deals himself, he kept trading cards for packets because he just wanted to open packets, all like low end deals, bit of fun, had fun. And I kept telling him, I want you to get me a Squirtle card. That was his task.
Yeah.
I said, by the time this show ends, I want a Squirtle.
Yeah.
And I don't want the first generation Squirtle with all the bubbles. I said, anything else.
Get me a Squirtle card.
Get me a Squirtle card. He promised me he'd do it. He ran around. He eventually got it done on the Sunday. And he also opened a pack. Anytime he was opening a pack, I said, if there's a Squirtle in there, you have to give it to me. He got a Japanese Pokemon Go pack. There was a little Japanese version of a Squirtle in there. I got that, so I have 2 Squirtles. And I've decided that I'm going to do a little Squirtle PC to kind of engage with the Pokemon community, the trading card community, and I think it's just fun. So we did a deal actually with someone who was mainly a Pokemon guy who was getting into sports, and he got kind of the favorable side of the deal, I'll say. But I said to him, the next show I want a Squirtle, because he was a big Pokemon guy, and he promised me that. So I'm now going to, where I can, pick up little squirrels.
But I think it's also a good idea because, well, first of all, the table beside ours, we're selling a lot of Pokemon and ended up buying a couple of bits of soccer wax off our table on the Sunday to rip. So I think it's a good idea to, as we travel around to these shows, it's generally sports and TCG. And so if you're kind of looking for Squirtle stuff, that's an in.
An in.
That's like a...
Jason, this is pure, by the way. It's not an in.
Huh? It's an in.
I love my Squirtle.
This is a cynical move.
No way. No. I'm not. Look at this. I don't know if the people will see this. This is what I did today. The people won't be able to see this.
No, they can't see it. But I can tell you, it's a picture of a Squirtle jigsaw.
Do you know what you can do? You can put it on screen right now.
Yeah, okay, send me the picture.
Great.
Do you want people to see you talking about a jigsaw with so few pieces?
How dare you? There was 3 jigsaws in there, my friend. It wasn't just one.
Yeah, but it's not about it's.
Do you know what upset me?
What's that?
All the jigsaw pieces were in the box in the same bag.
Yeah.
But the backs of them gave the clue as to which one it was for. There was different designs. Like one had stripes, one had little dots, and one was blank to let you know which one. That made me sad.
Because if it wasn't that way, then it would have been essentially. It would have been, there's 3. There's like a little pre-jigsaw. Where first of all you got to sort them all out, and then you can start the jigsaw.
That's what I did. But I made a mistake, and one of the Bulbasaur pieces was in with the Venus one of the Squirtle pieces was in with the Bulbasaur pieces. And because the green and the blue kind of blended, I couldn't quite find it, so I was missing one piece for a long time. Maybe not a long time. Don't insult me.
What happened in the end?
I found it. There you go.
We'll be back after the break.
But no, I like it. If anyone has any Squirtles, and I'm not looking for high end, I'm not. Come on. Any Squirtles that you have on the go, send them my way. At a show. You don't need to ship anything to me.
Right. Now, next time you go to a show,
you're
going to be inundated
with Squirtles.
With Squirtle.
That'd be unreal. I genuinely
You're happy enough with that?
It'd be class.
I'm just making sure you realize the repercussion of it. But 2 is like
I just want people trying to sell me a squirrel.
Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen.
I'll trade into a squirrel. But I don't know the prices or nothing. So I don't want to, do you know what I mean? I don't, like, I'd rather, like, we're doing a deal and we're just about to close and I say, but do you have a squirrel?
You're kind of saying, like, donate you a squirrel.
Yeah. Because I'll appreciate it. You know, the ones that you just have in a big pile, not even in a top loader, I'll take it. Mm-hmm. I know what to do with it. That's my little squirrel.
Okay.
And if you have one of the Squirtle gang, don't even get me started. It's a newfound little TCG PC.
While I just checked that we're actually recording, what is the Squirtle gang? For any listeners that don't know, imagine
I was about to say.
Imagine there's a listener like
imagine there's a listener like you. I hope not. I certainly hope not. Squirrel Gang is a very famous from the show. Jason, Pokemon wasn't just a game. Wasn't just a trading card game. It was a TV show.
I know. I saw the show.
I'm telling the people.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my god.
I forgot what was happening while I was away.
Hey, are we recording?
We're recording. We've been recording the whole time.
Well, the Squirtle, like, eventually the main Squirtle finds these other Squirtles have sunglasses on. He puts sunglasses on, becomes a Squirtle Gang. It's very.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And who?
I wonder if there's a card. I'm checking right now. Someone has there's a tattoo of the Squirtle Gang squirrel.
Which of the main guys from the show has a squirrel?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, there is a Squirtle Gang squirrel. No,
don't say, oh my god, who has the squirrel?
It's Ash. Ash Ketchum.
Does Ash not have a Pikachu?
He has all three. He has the 3 starters and Pikachu.
But Pikachu's his friend more than just a Pokemon.
What does that have to do with anything? Doesn't mean he doesn't have a Squirtle.
I'm saying, does anyone have like a Squirtle who's like their like?
I can't tell if these Squirtle Gang Pokemon cards are fake or not.
Here's another question about Pokemon.
I should just check eBay.
So on
that looks real. Sorry.
Ash, right? Pikachu is like, he doesn't keep him in the Pokeball.
They're all pocket monsters, Jason.
No, just hang on. This is a genuine, real question that makes sense. Pikachu hangs out on Ash's shoulder and stuff like a parrot, right?
We're talking about an electric mouse here. Continue.
Yeah. And so Ash kind of has this like very highly developed relationship with Pikachu. And what I'm trying to remember or ask you is,
remember, he's trying to pretend he has culture.
Other people,
yes,
walk around,
yes,
with that. So I'm asking, who's this Squirtle? That's the question. Who
walks around with a squirrel?
Whose Squirtle is like how Ash is with Pikachu? Who has like a Pikachu that's like a squirrel?
Don't have an answer for that.
It's not one of the main guys.
No. I almost said Misty, but she has Staryu or something.
Okay.
Grow up, Jason. Jason, if you have any Diglets, send them Jason's way.
Don't.
Oh my god. Don't.
If you have any Diglets, bury them underground. That's what Diglett is. Maybe that's why I was thinking about Diglett when you asked me. I was thinking I'd like to be able to burrow under the ground.
You wish a hole.
Yeah, would open up and swallow me. I'd like to have Diglett.
That needs to be a big hole.
It would. Be more like a ditch.
Very depth ditch.
Yeah. You had to put cones all around it because a car could fall out.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Great.
Do you ever think about starting a Pokemon podcast?
No.
You never thought about it?
Remember the way we started this podcast? I was teaching you about sports cards.
Yeah.
I could set up a podcast where me and Faye teach you about Pokemon.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. But there was a huge Pokemon influencer gang at the show. I don't know them very well. I don't know any of the Pokemon influencers, but they walked around like a gang.
Yeah.
Like a Squirtle gang. I'd love to know the internal politics of the Pokemon.
But you see, hang on.
Community.
Sorry, going back to that's not the comparison type you're going to make. Because you actually don't know Pokemon cards that well.
No.
So in that situation, you're me.
No, I'm teaching you about Pokemon.
No.
Not cards.
But
Pokemon, period.
Okay, but that's not what I'm...
Like, you don't even know how often you can get a shiny Pokemon. And you didn't download Pokemon Go, which shows that you have no inner child.
No, I didn't download Pokemon Go.
Oh my god.
Excuse me.
When it came out.
Yeah, when it came out, what?
People were getting abducted for that game.
Who?
Children.
I never heard of it. I read the newspaper. I do the crossword.
What age are you?
Old.
You're not that old.
Right, anyway.
Crossword.
We had 2 tables at London, right? And it was 1 table of wax and it was another table of cards. And Enzo, I'd like to hear your thoughts on... Also, on the Saturday, we had a corner.
Corner, like a little section. One going this way, one going that way, perpendicular. You could say perpendicular tables.
Sunday, flat.
Boom.
Boom.
Parallel.
We
No,
were-
not parallel. I guess
we were
it's
here.
in linear.
And we're there. Yeah, a chain.
A chain.
So I'd like to know your thoughts. 1 versus 2, corner versus flat.
I prefer the flat. I don't know. To be honest, I prefer the flat only because I felt, because we had all wax on one and all cards on the other, and there was 3 of us kind of bopping about, I felt like some people didn't know that we were both tables.
At the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot harder to look at 2 tables when you have to look. You have to do much more of a maneuver at
Yeah.
a card show to look at both. Because that's like two totally different areas, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like you're in a little channel here, and then you're out. And we weren't all wearing like matching T-shirts or anything like that. We don't have soccer cards in merch yet. So I felt there was some people trying to do deals for cards or deals for wax, and they didn't realize that the wax or the cards on the other table were in play as well. And I feel like we felt that on the Sunday, because on the Sunday it was a straight line, much more obvious.
And a lot more.
And I had inceptions. I purposely put like inceptions
Yeah.
at the edge of the one table and carrying on to the next table, and then we had wax just to kind of show that kind of, this is all the
to
same
show the
thing.
borderless nature of what was happening.
It's like a subconscious thing though.
Yeah.
I think I was standing there
You're
and
subliminally advertising.
I was saying to people at our table, I was like, I don't think this person is aware. Like, someone's looking at our stuff. I don't think he knows this is also our table. That was like
Yeah.
I was just switched on, and that was just like an observation I made. And then day 2, thankfully, we were in a line, and I felt like it was just a better setup. So I don't know if we can request that in future if we do 2 tables, but if we can, I'll definitely.
From now on, if we're
Ask.
getting to tables at any show.
I'll say, hey, I want them in line.
Yeah.
Don't want a corner.
Don't want a corner.
It was nice. The corner was nice because then we had the roller banner behind us, so it did feel like this whole section.
Yeah.
It's just that.
We also had, I think, the 3 of us had more space to work in the flat line.
True.
You didn't.
We did.
You know, because at the corner you kind of.
Yeah. We're flatline boys now.
Yeah.
But it was nice.
It was nice.
It was nice to get an experience of both of them.
Yeah.
Because these are the kind of things, like, when people say, do you have any advice for card shows going to be a vendor for the first time? I can now say people, if you're getting more than one table, try ask if they can be in line.
Yeah. But someone has to get a corner.
True.
Although I suppose you could just put 2 individual tables at the corners.
Yeah. There you go. That could be something you do if we organise a card show, Jason. That's a bit of organisational knowledge we just picked up.
Yeah, great. And now the listeners have it as well. So if they're hosting a card show,
We share all of our knowledge with the people. Because we're trying to further the hobby in Europe, everybody.
Speaking of sharing knowledge with people,
Oh my God.
on Saturday we inaugurated the Topps main stage at the London Card Show by hosting the first ever live event.
Oh, the round of applause there. I'm doing this because I don't think you're going to edit it in. Maybe you will.
Doing it now.
Oh, there we go.
We got up there on the stage
The main stage.
and we hosted a Q&A.
Yeah.
And we had ourselves, we had Nick, who's art design department of Topps UK.
Yeah. Nikki.
We had Dylan, who had flown over from the US, from Topps US.
Had a lot of nuggets for us, that man.
From the brand team, I believe. And then we had Jonathan from the sales team in the Topps UK.
Yeah, he was great.
Um,
Marshy, I believe they call him.
is that a bit of a nickname?
Yeah, I think so.
So we had our questions people had sent in on our social media.
Oh, yes.
And we asked, and we picked up a few little nuggets. First of all, it was very interesting to hear other people talking. I'm so used to just us talking.
I thought we did a good job.
Yeah. So also, we had a lot to get through. And so there was no time for, banter or anything.
No. And it was also, in the background, we also had our table was being managed by Faye, and actually a friend of ours who had just arrived at the show. We kind of just threw him behind the table, Jamie. And it was like, it was great to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. There was part of me that was like, our table, we're currently working.
Yeah.
We have stuff going on, but it was thankfully to Faye and to Jamie, they held down our table very well. We felt comfortable, confident. That was we managed it basically.
Yeah, it was good.
It's great.
A few little nuggets that we got. There was a couple of nuggets and then a couple of other like teasers. One was that we have a high-end set that hasn't been in soccer before coming to soccer.
Ooh.
So people can draw their own conclusions.
You sound like Dylan.
So what that might be. I'm basically, Dylan said something like, people can draw their own conclusions what that might be. I know, Enzo, you and I certainly have theories.
Yes.
We have the conspiracy theory, the red string.
Oh. And I feel like I cracked the code.
What I like to do is take a list of the high-end Topps products from other sports, cross-reference that with the list of high-end products that have been so far in soccer.
Yeah, there's not a lot left.
Put
them over.
See what's,
See what's happening. Yeah, that's good.
Take a wild guess. And then we also heard that they're talking about the legends, like increasing the amount of legend signees and all that.
Which has helped the products a lot.
For sure. And Dylan teased that they had got an agreement in place for autographs from a French footballing legend.
Now, there's a lot of football heritage in France.
Yes.
So that could be anyone.
Yeah.
Draw your own conclusions.
And he also told us that they were working on getting new licenses all the time, but they just signed an agreement with the J League.
The J League.
In Japan.
Very fun.
That's very exciting.
Hey, you were buzzing for that, Jason, because I think you said Matomo,
yeah, for Brighton.
Matoma, and you also told me some other players.
Kyogo from Celtic.
Kyogo. So, like we're saying, in a world where Topps already had those licenses, we would have had high-end rookies for those.
I think so.
Earlier than we do.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I think Iniesta had a lot of patches going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there seems to always be kind of a few legends that go to that league anyway.
That's right. The likes of Lucas Podolski was there.
Oof.
Might still be there. I'm not sure. Oh, he's in Poland now. Anyway. So that's very exciting. They also showed us this thing, Superstars, Top Superstars, which is like kind of like a halfway house between Match Attacks and hobby products.
I was told it's replacing Match Attax Chrome this year.
Okay, so that's kind of that area.
Has been replaced with like a new brand, but I was told it's the same stock and style kind of a Match Attax Chrome.
Right.
So I asked that, and that's good because the Match Attax Chrome stock was actually brilliant.
I'm looking here. They've done WWE Superstars before.
Okay, interesting.
And they had autographs. And
I never held any of those cards. So if you have, that's what we're getting.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's from since 2021, November 2021.
Yeah, and I think it's like retail. I don't know if there's hobby.
A lot of the questions that were asked actually were about accessibility of product.
Mm-hmm.
And the answers that came down.
That's so interesting though, isn't it? Like there's an accessibility of products being asked, Jason, but then we're also seeing people always complaining that there's too many products.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, I think the people who can get the products at the moment don't want any more of it. And it's like, instead of like, say, for instance, so that was the Q&A. We're going to now move, I just want to make it clear, we're moving now from the Q&A to like some editorializing.
Was there anything else said at the Q&A?
No, I don't think so. But like, just in terms of like the products, the thing is like, if I collect Topps Chrome, I don't necessarily want you to print more Topps Chrome. If you want to print something lower down the chain, like Topps Match Attax Chrome or something, that's fine. But don't come up to my area. So, but then we've observed before that stuff like having like light and having flagship, they sit right, you know. So maybe you don't need, say it's 1 to 10, you don't need like a level, every level having, you know, it could be.
Certainly not right now.
Not right now. Not right now, Topps, please. But that was a very fun Q&A, and I have to say, the most comfortable chairs.
Armchairs on stage.
An amazing.
It was great.
Set of chairs.
There's actually one thing I want to talk about that. Sorry if I can, Jason. At the National, there was a stage. Mm-hmm. And it was very hard to get people sitting in the seats and people engaging with what's going on.
Yeah. Like, that was the Mike Burkus main stage, I remember. Because
but like that was the same thing at this show. Like if you're at a show, your pure focus is to look at every table, do deals, chat to people, have fun. It's very difficult, I feel, because I'm trying to think, if you're hosting a show and you want to have panels and you want to have interesting things going on, which you do.
Yeah.
How do you do that successfully when the majority of people are not there to sit and listen to something or engage with something other than, I have a few hours here, I'm here for the day, maybe I have a few hours, I want to get the cards I want to find, I want to do a deal, this, that and the other. Because it was the same, it's not a case of the London Card Show wasn't big enough. It happened at the National as well. We seen it. It's like we had a lot of time to burn at the National. We still didn't pay attention to the stage.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of, I don't know if you have, like, the only thing I can think of is having organized panel discussions on, and I'm sure this would be a nightmare to organize, on in between the show and the trade night.
Okay.
If there was like kind of an auditorium or, you know, another place you could do that.
Yeah.
Probably have food refreshments, because at the end of the day everyone wants to eat.
Yeah.
That's where everyone pretty much ran to eat and then came back to the trade night. if there could be food on the go, some refreshments, and then a panel happening, I think there'd be more engagement with it, more focus with it.
Yeah, it's tough because like we see a lot of people go to the stage when there's giveaways, and that happened this time as well. There's giveaways going on and raffles, and anytime that's happening, you naturally get people coming over. But in terms of that kind of panel thing, the education, the discussion, it's kind of like when you go, like since the pandemic, when you go to the cinema, they always show you an ad, a long ad for going to the cinema. It's always like, the magic of the movies. It's like, I already bought a ticket.
I'm here.
You need to be advertising this to people that aren't here. And so the thing about having card panel discussions at card shows is that the people that are there are already bought in. So it has to be an extra layer of, it has to be like specific stuff. Like the Tops Q&A, the questions we asked were all about, were stuff you had to know at least what was going on.
But that's why it was good to do it there.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just the attention.
How do you...
Like, I felt I barely got a chance to walk around the show.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I was a vendor, so a little bit different.
Yeah.
But having said that, there was still 2 of you I could have went walk around. I didn't really have time, so a lot of people are definitely the same, even as a non-vendor. People don't really... It's not that they're not interested in it. I'm sure if we put everything that was said in the Q&A into a manuscript, people would be really interested in reading it.
Completely, yeah.
But the thing is...
If we released that Q&A as a podcast,
they'd
people
love it.
listen to the whole thing.
They would love it.
Yeah.
And people would be really talking about what superstars, what's the high-end set, what's this, what's that. That was interesting.
Completely.
But, all this. Yeah. But it's hard to do that when you're at a show. Same happened to the National. All you want to do is look at tables, chat to people, network with people, have fun, find the card you're looking for, make some deals.
Because let's say you go to a card show anytime from, like, if it's us, it could be once a month.
Yeah.
For some people, it could be once a year. Like, let's say you go every 3 months. The other 89 days of those 90 days, you can listen to podcasts about cards, read articles about cards, look at blogs, look at YouTube video. Like, you do all of that when you're not at the card show, ultimately leading up to the few hours you get to spend actually doing it.
Yeah. For me, it would be, you have to shut down, you have to close the tables. Everyone has to pack up, then you can do that.
I agree with that.
The only way to do that is that they can have food, drinks, and have it be like an event. Oh, by the way, show finishes at 6, but at 7, there's a 1-hour discussion, and then trade night starts at 8.
Yeah.
Giving you as free game, people. A lot of people hosting card shows.
I mean, what they do at, like, Comic-Con is the floor is open. So you're walking the floor at Comic-Con, and you're walking the floor, and then there's, like, panels going on in auditoriums away from,
That was similar to VCon.
Yeah, there's, like, panel
discussions.
Great. It's great.
But it's like, at a card show, you're there for that specific event of the card show.
And also for, like, Comic-Con, for instance, if you're, like, an Indiana Jones fan, and Harrison Ford, he wouldn't do one, but, like, if Harrison Ford was on a panel, you're there, you go to that panel, because that's one of the reasons you've gone to,
100%.
And there's still all of the fans of all of the other stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, like, we don't have, like, if you and I do it, like, a live podcast during a card show, and it's like, oh yeah, in Hall A right now, there's a live podcast. People be like, well, I like Jason Enzo, but
I'm at the card show.
I can't.
Yeah, that's how I ended up seeing the Josh Luber thing at VCon, because I had the list of the auditoriums,
yeah.
and I was like, okay, that's, I do sports cards a lot.
Yeah.
I'll go listen to Josh Luber
because
Fanatics and da-da-da.
VCon is a conference.
Yeah, it's purposely set up.
It's the difference between a conference and a
trade show.
A trade show, yeah. And like a marketplace, kind of
But like, for me, it's like such a good opportunity, because I think if you did it after the show finished, because the show finished at 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Show finished at 4, trade night was at 6.
6.
Gives you like an hour to clean it all up, do whatever you need to do, everyone pack up, leave, and then have something set for people to do.
I think it's...
I don't know, something.
It's something. It's just interesting because this is like not really... Traditionally, the way the hobby works is that it's just a hobby. Like, you don't... The idea that you need other people... Like, the idea that you need us.
Us?
Like, what I'm saying is, like...
I'm sure there's fishing podcasts.
Yeah, there are, but I'm sure, like, for a while, it takes a while for that, like, cultural aspect to develop.
Okay, but I'm not talking about us. I'm just talking about, like, Tops doing a Q&A.
Yeah.
Ignoring us, Jason, is a very interesting thing for people in general.
But then why didn't we have bums on seats?
Because of what I'm saying. Like, everyone was at the show.
Right.
Everyone was just paying attention to the table.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with us.
No, I'm not saying it's to do with us. I'm saying it's not. I'm using us as an example.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if Topps, Panini, whoever wanted to do a panel at a show, it's like trying to have a concert when everyone is in Ibiza or something.
Well, I think it's just fundamentally the fact that,
like, it's just something else is happening. You're trying to have a Q&A panel, but everyone is here for this whole other thing that they're paying.
Yeah.
Their attention is, you're trying to get their attention, but their attention is elsewhere. Geez.
Yeah. So, do you think, for instance,
if that was a recorded sit-down panel interview and released on Twitter or YouTube,
yeah,
more people would see it and engage with it.
Yeah, because...
And that's not to say don't do it at a show. It's just to do it at a show, as we've seen at the National, which is a much bigger show, is at a show people are not sitting and listening to people talking.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's something there, though, because doing that is positive.
I enjoyed doing it. I thought, I was looking out at the audience, and thank you to anyone who came in and listened. For the other people in the room, I was listening to what the lads were saying, and I'm just like, I know I can name 15 people who are in this room right now that would be interested in the answer to this question.
Absolutely.
And they're not here because they have different priorities today. Today is the only day they're busy.
Yeah, they're busy. They don't have, 100%.
So it's like...
But that's the same as the National.
Yeah, completely. Because at the National...
Like, there's a way to do it. It's just not being done right.
Yeah, I don't know what...
I think. Or maybe you just need to do a different event.
I don't know what's going on. I think it's right to want to do it.
Yeah.
It was... The content of it was excellent.
100%. The seats were amazing.
The seats were fantastic. Like, everything was good about it. Except that, like, you couldn't blame people for not coming.
100%.
Yeah.
People were not stopping what they were doing to sit down and listen to people.
Yeah. Now, maybe... I don't know.
There you go. We've seen it at the National. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
There's a way to integrate a main stage without...
Because especially at the National, if anything, it's more dramatic. Because it's like, I flew here. If you're in Chicago, there's like 10,000 people or whatever, how many people go to the National. 50,000 people, whatever it is. Most of them aren't from Chicago. Mm-hmm. So they either drove or flew.
Atlantic City, by the way.
If it's Atlantic City, even worse.
Yeah.
It's like, I came to Atlantic City specifically to walk around these tables. I cannot spend any time doing
this
anything except that. I came all this way.
Yep, that's it.
So, interesting stuff.
Thank you to Topps for organising that.
Thank you, yeah. Thank you
London Card Show.
And the London Card Show. And
get into the deals.
Maybe we have to remember that there was a couple of other content creators on stage doing other stuff. They had a lot of people attending.
A lot.
So, you know.
It's us, is it?
It could be us. Maybe Soccer Cards United didn't have the ball, the tops were open.
Oh my God.
Let's get into the deals. Let's start at F1. Because we picked up a 1-of-1 Esteban Ocon
oh my God.
from Topps Dynasty, a triple patch autograph in a BGS 9. And we traded for it with a Dynasty, unopened box, sealed
2021
box.
Dynasty.
2021 Dynasty.
Now this, and we must tie in, we didn't love the deal. Mm-hmm. We had 5 boxes of Dynasty, so we were kind of happy to diversify out of one, quote unquote. And we decided that we would do the deal on the condition that the individual giving us the Ocon, that we didn't really, it's not as liquid as a box of Dynasty, Jason. I think it's safe to say. On the condition that he spent £160 on our table on wax, because we didn't really want to carry all our wax back home.
Okay, so that's just a little proviso for the people.
Because people might say you traded an Ocon for a Dynasty box, you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
But we did that, and we were stupid enough, but we also got some liquidity in the door.
So, just for the purposes, because we're going to talk about a lot of deals here.
Yeah.
I would like to just put a blanket. I don't want to have to, overly justify. We're not trying to prove anything to anybody here. So, assume that for all of these deals, if you're sitting there thinking, oh, but there's surely, we're happy with all of these deals.
Oh, 100%.
So, don't write in worrying about us.
No, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're professionals at this stage.
Yes, so it's just
So don't worry.
No, nobody worry. Anyway,
Nobody worry.
I'm just worried about people worrying.
There's one big deal that we got. Like that one has to be at the.
That one we're going to get into.
Okay.
Because that would cause quite a stir. So the Esteban Ocon, and it's a 1-on-1 of, from what year dynasty is it? 2021. Yeah. So which only has 18 drivers.
Yeah.
So you've got a good chance of that. And the thing about it is, right? So the whole thing about F1 is that there's only 20 drivers any year, right? So these are like the top 20 drivers in the world.
Period.
Yeah. So, and this is a 1-of-1. Triple patch auto. Number 2.
On card auto. It's 1-of-1.
Oh, sorry, 1-of-1. Yeah.
Number 2, 1.
It's all 5, 1-of-1. No, it's a 1-of-1 on card auto triple
eBay
patch.
1-of-1.
Right? So it's very strange that this is not worth at least the price of the box. If it
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
If we opened that box and got this card in it, we wouldn't have been devastated. It wouldn't have been great. It wouldn't have been devastated. In fact,
I mean, because how many possible cards could you get that
aren't this
that are better? You know, like it's very
happened.
Yeah. So,
the box we traded as well ultimately got opened, and it was literally the worst card in the whole set.
Yeah.
It was an Alpine Principal that wasn't even there for a full year. It was literally worth about £50 in the end.
No good.
Very bad.
So we did well on that, and it's always nice to have a 1-on-1. Of course, the thing is that Esteban Ocon could race for another 3 years or race for another 10 years and never.
But like, is he French? Where is he from?
He's French, isn't he? Ocon and Gasly next year at Alpine. French team, 2 French drivers.
Yeah. So like, to be honest,
you rock up to the Paris card show.
Yeah, but you're just trying to find one person that's interested in that.
Yeah.
You know? Or not. And the best thing about it being a 1-on-1, it might just be a person that's interested in 1-on-1s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
know?
this is true.
I think we'll do okay on it. I just think it'll be less liquid than a Dynasty box, but I think ultimately it'll end well.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to do the big one next, or do you want to
maybe last?
Maybe last. Okay, right. The next one we did was, people may remember from the Munich show, we got a Maradona first Panini sticker, 1979.
1979 Panini Calciatori.
And would you believe it? At that show, there were 2 stickers available.
Yeah.
From the same seller. We took one. At this show, we took the other.
Yeah, he had wanted a Haaland foosball, and he gave me his number to ship it to him, and I actually just forgot. And pre-show, I was going to bring some foosballs, but I remember thinking to myself, I didn't meet this guy in London. I met him in Germany. Probably not going to be in London, because he's from Italy. Mm-hmm. And I bumped into him at the show, and I was like, I
forgot the thing.
Yeah, but as it turned out, we did a deal with an English person who was supposed to give us a PSA 9 Haaland foosball.
Yeah.
So at the end of the Saturday, he came up to us and said, I actually have these cards, give them to us. And I said, I have a foosball for the trade night. I'm going to find this guy. We're going to do the deal. Mm-hmm. Do a deal of some sort. So eventually I found him, looked at all the cards he had, and the Maradona was on the table at his trade night.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it on the Saturday. He had a few cards. That Maradona wasn't there. I thought he might have sold it. So I went up to him. I said, I just put the Haaland foosball on the table. He had a big smile on his face. And he goes, right, let's do something. And I said, I want the Maradona. And we basically, we're he and on, I would say, Jason.
Yeah.
Trying to find a price, a valuation. I think he wanted the Haaland foosball and €300 cash, which brought it to about 550 maybe, for this Maradona.
Okay.
I didn't quite want to give away that much cash.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try bring him down. He said if I had any Pedri rookies, we could bring it down.
And we did.
I went back to Jason and said, do we have any Pedri rookies in the 40 to 50 pound range? We had a museum of 150 patch rookie.
Yeah, which we'd had for ages.
Which we had for so long. And I said, oh, this is actually going to be brilliant. Brought it back to the guy. He said, great. And I think we did the deal at €250 plus Pedri plus Haaland foosball PSA 9 for this Maradona Panini Calciatori, which I have valued at about 600 plus.
Okay.
So I think it was a really good deal, and I was happy to get it. Probably going to grade both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was happy to for me, that was like one where it's like I got to give him the one thing he was looking for, which was a Haaland foosball, which was like a big chase for him. I got to get a Maradona, which we're very confident long term is a very good card to have. We love it. There's now 2, one each, you could say.
Yeah. And
yeah, the Pedri that he was looking for was kind of just lucky that we had the Pedri rookie that we hadn't managed to sell to anyone because it was kind of an awkward. Yeah. People disrespect Museum too much.
It's not very popular,
but it's one of like the best releases I think every year.
Yeah. It's very, very popular to open. It's not very popular on the singles market.
It's very interesting. I don't know why, but it's a weird box. Someone actually emailed us recently, Jason, or DM'd us about Haaland's rookie year, the Bundesliga museum boxes being really cheap in comparison to Haaland rookies in that
That's
same
right.
box.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What's going on here? Are people sleeping?" And I was like, "No, museum is just weirdly underrated." So I love that deal.
Then the next one we did was we had a Mane colorblast, which we picked up also in Munich.
Yeah.
So we had the Mane colorblast. Now Mane has 3 years, 2019, 2020 and 2021 of Liverpool colorblast.
Yeah, they really went hard on Mane.
This is the 2020 one, is it?
Yeah. I
We
think so.
had it in the PSA 10, and we traded a Jack Grealish PSA 10 colorblast
Yes.
from the same
Same year.
Year.
PSA 10.
and we were just
In a Villa kit.
in a Villa kit. We were looking at it. We were like, so the person we traded with was like, these are basically the same, and we were like, no,
Not quite.
they're not quite. That's Sadio Mane. That's Jack Grealish.
Yeah, a bit different. But it was awkward because Sadio Mane doesn't play for Liverpool anymore. Grealish doesn't play for Villa.
Yeah.
It was kind of awkward. Now, I would rate, we obviously did, we valued the Mane more than the Grealish.
So then we were
And we
saying,
like
well,
him more as a player.
maybe throw in some cash, convince us, and then out comes a Stadium Club Chrome Steven Gerrard
Autograph.
and his image is really cool. It's doing wide kind of wingspan.
Yeah.
Thing, and so we made that deal.
Yeah, made that deal. And the Gerrard, ultimately, we sold that at the show.
Yeah.
Got a bit of liquid cash in the door.
Yeah,
Don't really know what we're going to do with the Grealish, but we kind of had the Mane in a similar way. So
yeah. The Mane wasn't
super liquid
super liquid, so we're happy enough to. And a PSA 10 Color Blast,
is a thing.
and it looks great if nothing else.
Yeah.
So we traded it from a lovely display piece into a lovely display piece.
Yeah, and we got a bit of cash.
Display piece.
Display piece.
That's hard to say.
I'm talking about display pieces. Someone came up to our table, Jason.
Yeah.
With two 2015 Panini Flawless.
Actually, a few more than 2. It
Oh, yeah.
was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, we messed up there. We could have got them all.
The players weren't.
Trevino and yeah.
Yeah.
But they had a stack of Flawless cards, and they weren't a big soccer person.
Mostly a basketball collector who had. He told me afterwards that he had at one time thought about getting into soccer, but he'd been collecting basketball for 30 years. And he was like, all right, if I get into soccer, it could be cool, but I'm basically going to be starting from scratch. And I can't do that at this point in my collecting journey. So we had these 2015 Flawless cards, which are amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the two that we picked out of his little set was a Yaya Toure
Yeah.
on-card autograph in an Ivory Coast kit.
Yeah, to 25, I believe.
Incredible. And a Robin Van Persie on-card autograph. That was definitely to 25, I believe. In his Dutch kit. 2 on-card autographs, 2 beautiful
Amazing cards.
beautiful cards.
Yeah.
Very, legacy, old, initial ground zero kind of a card. Got the 2 of them for £260,
Yeah.
which was great. We thought, and we really liked them. We didn't want to sell them. We put them on the table eventually. Initially, we didn't. Then we put them on the table, and they both went to eager collectors, I would say.
Yeah.
And it did not take long, but those are the kind of cards that don't take long.
Yeah. Because if you walk up to the table, you see a lot of stuff from between 2019 and 2022.
Yeah.
That has a lot of product.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of vintage that is like too far back. That's like,
Yeah.
there's
But when
not-
you see 2015 stuff, you go, wow.
Yeah, whoa.
And it's an all white design with the player. It's amazing.
An on-card autograph, which you don't see a lot in soccer.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. We ended up selling the Yaya Tour, I think, for £100 and the Robin Van Persie for £200.
I think that's right.
There was multiple deals going on, but we spent $260. We got to look at them. They were beautiful. We sold for $300. Only £40 profit. Beautiful cards out the door.
In a couple of hours.
But it was, and it was more so like we did really well. The people that we sold them to were so happy.
Yeah.
And had such a positive rapport with soccer cards. And I had to say that's where the real value there was.
Yeah.
And I think getting to hold them in their hands, take some photos, and now we know, should we come near another flaw? Like that's for PC. Like if we find another flawless,
Yeah.
good to get in the door. I'd love to open a box of that if they're even around, Jason.
But that's the kind of thing. That's the great thing about card shows is, like this guy that was collecting basketball. Like Flawless isn't something you see a lot of.
No.
But this guy's collecting basketballs. So he knows the brands. He knows Panini's brands. So he goes, "Oh, Flawless! I love Flawless. They've done that for soccer. I'll get a few of them because I know they're popular in basketball, and that'll cross over." So he has that like crossover knowledge.
Yeah.
Whereas soccer collectors mightn't necessarily think of 2015 Flawless. It's not on their radar because who among us has opened Flawless? Like, so that was great.
Who has seen a Yaya Toure autograph? Like
Yeah, and so that's the kind of thing you can only get at card shows.
But my favorite thing about at a card show is that you're sitting there like you start the day and then throughout the day you end up getting cards.
Yeah.
Like our table became much nicer by cards we got on the day.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that might be the only time we've ever just bought a card outright. Normally we trade. This guy came up, he wasn't a soccer guy, so there wasn't really anything to trade.
No, he didn't want anything.
And we looked at his cards and said, because normally you're at the show, you're making money, you don't really want to hand it back out. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to make sales and you're trying to trade and blah blah blah. But we seen these cards and we were just like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Straight cash.
Straight cash, yeah.
And like, had we not even sold at the show, we would have been happy out.
Yeah. So that was exciting. Then we had this Bukayo Saka Euro Mosaic on. A Euro 2020 Mosaic had an interesting life because it was the second Euro 2020 set. But it had Bukayo Saka autos, and he's having a real moment this season and was brilliant since that Euros. And that autograph is quite valuable now. So we valued ours at £200, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, we were told that there was a PSA 10 floating around
At the show.
that was like $250, I think. And I actually went over to the person that was, and I was like, I hear you're selling a PSA 10 for $250. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're below comms.
You're giving out a really good deal here. What are you doing?
You're making me look bad. But we ended up doing a part trade, part cash deal. We got a Gavi Glimpses of Gold from Stadium Club Chrome. Gavi Glimpses of Gold rookie
Orange.
of 25. Yeah. Which was absolutely lovely. I believe it's copper in Stadium Club.
Sorry.
It might not be though. So orange. Let's just say orange. But yeah, that was nice. So I was happy with the Gavi.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, that's a Gavi of 25 rookie. And we were kind of thinking, Gavi's not super hot in the UK, but very popular with American collectors.
Huge rookie.
Huge rookie, carrying the 2021-22 rookie class on his back.
Carrying Barcelona.
Yeah. So we were happy to do that. But then we ended up trading that Gavi.
We got cash as well with that deal.
We got cash as well with that deal.
Substantial, I would say.
I think it was half. I think it was half.
Half,
and half,
yeah. £100.
And the Gavi.
Yeah.
So then we had the Gavi.
Yes.
And then we ended up trading the Gavi for a Rashford impeccable auto.
Yeah.
I think it was Illustrious Ink
Illustrious ink, impeccable autograph.
to 99.
Beautiful.
Which was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Marcus Rashford is also having a moment.
On fire.
It's been on fire.
Scored that day, you know.
Yeah. And there was a couple. There was I think there was an Illustrious Ink to 99, and then the same collector had Indelible Ink to 49.
And it was nicer.
It was nicer, but we were trying to work out a deal, and it was either going to be like the Gavi. He wanted the Gavi.
Yeah. It was either a straight swap for the nicer impeccable.
No, I think we would have had to add cash on that.
No.
No, we didn't.
Straight swap.
Okay.
You're like, oh no, his face. It was a straight swap, or it was the of 99 and 20 quid cash.
Right. Okay.
And we went with that because in my head, I was thinking if we're going to sell this at the show, the value of the 49.99 to a collector that walks by, it's going to be the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I'm asking for 200, say, for the 99, I can't really ask for 250 for the 49. Like I think one person to come and we'll go to Marcus Rashford, nice autograph.
It's not going to be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was too much. I was like, let's just get 20 quid on this one because I reckon the liquidity is the same on both of the Rashfords.
Yeah. So we did that. And so that was from... Yeah, we went from the Saka. Then what happened to Rashford in the end?
Rashford got bought for... Our price was 150 on the Rashford, actually.
Right.
And it got bought then. 150 was our low, but he said 130 and we took it.
Okay.
So 130 plus the 20, 150. And we got 100. So we essentially sold our Saka for 250. If you bring it all the way back to the start.
Which was the equivalent of the Saka PSA 10 on the other table.
Which we could have went and bought.
Could have went and bought and started
And
the
we got
process.
that Saka maybe for 80.
Yeah. That's because that's
a long
kind of,
time ago.
Yeah.
Because that's how the Soccer United boys said he's not in World Cup prison with an autograph and he's an incredibly good player and he's going to win the league with Arsenal at some point.
Yeah. Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Come
on. Hustle. People don't want to work.
So that was exciting. But it is, I like the, it's fun when you get a fresh card in the door that you kind of...
And you trade it.
You trade it, yeah. And it's like, and you kind of, it's like doing a trade challenge.
Do you know, yeah, 100%. There's
But
one thing...
You don't have to walk around.
One thing that broke my heart at the show. We
What's
don't have to duck you here. Sometimes, this is the thing people don't really talk about.
Okay.
Sometimes at a show, someone will walk up to you with a card.
Yeah.
And this has happened to us, I would say, on 3 occasions now, Jason.
Okay.
3 different shows.
Yeah.
Someone will walk up to you and go, I have this card. And they'll produce a beautiful card, Jason.
Yeah.
They'll produce a card that just makes you go, whoa.
A heart-stopping
card, and then you're trying to do a deal. You're trying to figure out. You're trying to, and then they say, "I'm going to come back," and you never see them again. Not because you were given a bad deal, but just
what? So sorry. They come up. They want to trade or sell that card.
They want to trade or sell that card to you. You think the card is amazing.
Yeah.
You want it. You're trying to figure out a way to do it.
Do you make an offer?
You make an offer. It's not quite there.
Right.
But they want to kind of shop it around before they decide what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They say they'll come back. They don't come back. Because the likelihood is someone just gave them such a deal.
You're left to wonder what happened.
Someone approached us, Jason.
Yeah.
With the case hit from Merlin Chrome this year, Renaissance, Haaland, red refractor of 10.
Lovely.
And it was clean. And it was something that was hard to price. Someone had, I think, a PSA 10 up for like $8,000, and he was like, "This is crazy." There was Ronaldo sales at 1,000. There was a few red Renaissance that went between 600 and 1,000.
Yeah.
So I said to him, 1,000 is about where I'd put it. I'd be, maybe a bit higher, 1,200. It's Haaland.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he just never came back. And I was happy. Like I would have,
The ones that got away.
The ones that got away. It's like the Maradona. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
Maradona, and then the Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Who's became a really good. Everyone was like, "Hey, it was alright," and then he was apparently very good this year.
But the reason we didn't get the Joel Embiid was because it was a national exclusive.
But we still tried to get it.
But at a
reduced price,
super low price.
But your man ultimately said he was going to come back to us.
Oh, and then he walked away. Sorry,
and he never came back
because
we had space to go on it.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
But I'm happy enough. But by the way, just going back to the national thing, that has been like sometimes you get a card. One of the harder parts as like a dealer is when someone thinks they have a really good card, and they do. It is a really good card.
Yeah.
But you can't give them what they want. Like, but not even that. Like, it's just kind of, it's hard to break people's heart a little bit. Where you're like, I know this is like an amazing pull, or like it's great that you got this card, or you sniped it cheap on eBay, or whatever it is, right? And it could be like sometimes it's like it's a card from the National, or it's a Panini Father's Day, or they tend to be kind of cards that you have to explain, or it's an unnumbered Topps parallel, something like that. And they come up and they say, this is a purple gold Lewis Hamilton, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And you go, what's it number 2? They tell you what it's number 2. You do, all the whole thing. And then they say, here's the price. And you have to kind of go, right, but we've been talking for 15 minutes and I'm only now getting it.
Yeah.
And
that's not the price, my friend.
And you kind of have to say like, well, I'm going to buy this off you.
Then I have to explain it.
I have to explain it every time somebody looks at it. But also more than that, if people look at it and say it's unnumbered to 10 and it doesn't have the of 10 thing on it, this is a problem with Obsidian as well. If it doesn't have the of 10 thing on it, people just walk by.
They don't care.
They don't care. So now, but it's hard to say to somebody, I know, and that's what happened with Joel Embiid. It's like, but there's so much going on here.
There's too much to it.
That the best I could do is give you this. And that happened at the show a couple of times to me where I was like, I realised all that. But I'm saying I'll take it off your hands right now for 50 quid. And they're going, oh, it's really worth 120.
Yeah, and it's not. For me, I hate as well. Some people come up to you with their cards and they're like way overpriced.
Yeah.
And you're kind of trying to explain to them like this is not.
Yeah.
Or people tell you, oh, you grade this, you get a PSA 10, and then you're up, and it's like
you grade it.
You have to do that. I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to inspect every single card's raw status, and I'm not grading. It's like some cards were like, we wouldn't even grade it. We just put it on the table and sell it.
Yeah. It's tough. It's one of those things where it's like...
But it's fun. I mean, that's part of it. Like, sometimes you need to just say no to someone. Sometimes you need to just be like, can't do a deal.
Yeah.
Most of the time we do deals. I think we have a reputation now of deals.
Yeah.
People kind of said that a lot at the show. I came here because I know you'll do a deal.
Yeah.
But it's like, I need to be able to flick through your cards, pick the ones I want, work it out.
Yeah.
One thing that actually impacted me at this show.
Okay.
People are using the app Center Stage.
Yeah.
Right, this is an app where you have a card, you take it out, you scan it, and straight away it goes boom, and it gives you a comp.
Which I maintain does not work.
It's flawed, and it's giving out flawed comps. Like, someone did that just for... This is the only context I'll give you. Someone did that on our Jude Bellingham image variation autograph, where he's like, number to 50.
Mm-hmm.
And they scanned it, and the exact same card came up, and it said it was $200.
Yeah.
It's not. His non-image variation is like $400, $300. And and that one is like way more.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you give me an eBay comp, we can talk. If you do center stage, because a lot of people did center stage and said, "What's the price?" and I gave them their price, and they just walked away because it wasn't what was on center stage.
Yeah.
But center, I don't know where they're getting any of their information from, and how old or backdated it is, or what it is.
Yeah. It's not great.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
It's impacting comps. Which is a
Okay,
big
so
thing.
watch out for center stage.
Be careful out there, people.
Right, where are we now? I just wanted to mention that I picked up another couple of Ireland cards for the PC.
Oh yes.
We got a Robbie Keane, immaculate
Yeah. Boot.
boot worn, part of a boot worn, match worn shoe
Unbelievable.
patch, really cool. And then a Shea Given,
Immaculate autograph.
immaculate autograph, and I put them on the table for display because usually in the old days I could put Ireland cards on the table for display.
No one would ever.
No one would ever say anything.
But now,
But now, at least 2 or 3 people came up and said, like, what's the price on that? And I'd be like, that's not for sale.
that's not for sale.
But it's kind of, it was a real, it's like, it's nice. Now there's like,
Irish people want Irish cards.
it's still kind of cheap. It's all like, the market isn't red hot.
No.
But it's, for the first time ever, it's like, I have like competition.
Yeah.
You know?
People are scooping up the immaculates, Jason.
Yeah, someone's like, people say, I already have one of those. And you go, you already have it. Where did you get it? You know?
Where did you come from?
Where did you come from?
Maybe you didn't do a good enough job at scooping up the Irish cards, Jason, in your early days.
Maybe so.
You could have cleaned up and sold it to Ireland for the next 10 years.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
But yeah, okay, right. Let's go on. Oh, here's one for you, Enzo.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk in that at all, apart from the Dynasty box, about... no, we did. We talked about... just the Dynasty box in terms of wax trades.
Yeah.
But we do have a wax trade here, which is a World Cup Prism hobby box
Oh, yes.
and a Premier League Mosaic hobby box.
Okay.
Right? In return, we gave them, and in return we got the following. It's a big list.
Okay.
Pulisic Playmakers on-card autograph in a PSA 9/9.
Wow.
2 Haaland Crystal rookies, Topps Crystal rookies in PSA 9. 2 of them.
Yeah.
A World Cup 2018 Prism Mbappe base card in a PSA 10.
Nice.
And a little bit of cash.
Can't remember how much cash, but it was decent.
That was very exciting.
It's a great deal. That Pulisic was beautiful, which we ultimately sold at the show.
Ultimately sold it at the show. Because we knew...
We knew an
Pulisic-
American. We can't name names.
You know.
We knew an American, pulled him in,
Yeah.
and it was an easy enough deal.
Very good deal. So that was exciting as well. Now let's get to the
Controversial deal.
controversial deal. The deal that launched 1,000 tweets.
Oh my god.
So, here's a deal from the show. On one side of the deal, we have... I'm actually going to open up the tweet and everything.
Oh, here we go.
On one side of the deal, we have a... Do you want to start with what we got or what we gave?
What we got.
What we got. So we picked up at the show a Haaland colorblast.
Yes.
Black background, beautiful colorblast.
Little rainbow going on.
Yeah, in a PSA 10.
Oh.
Right? That's from Obsidian, is it?
21-22 Obsidian.
21-22 Obsidian. So we got that, and we also got a Robin Van Persie 2015?
2015, yeah.
2015 Select Patch Autograph.
Beautiful card.
Beautiful. Now, interestingly, on this card, he signs RVP 11. On the Flawless, he signed RVP 9.
Yeah.
So that's
his kit number.
Robin, but why did he sign 2 different ones?
He had a different kit number.
It's very interesting. Most players don't do that.
True. But
he's very concerned with the...
that might be 10, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's 10. I don't know what... Maybe he was trying to write 10 and the pen was too thick and it looked like an 11. That can happen sometimes.
Can do.
If using a thick pen. Anyway, so we got the Haaland Color Blast in the PSA 10 and we got the RVP Patch Auto. That's what we got.
That's what we got. And people said this was the bad. The people that got this did
Right.
bad.
So this is apparently the bad side of the trade.
Yeah.
Here's what we gave in return. We gave a Topps Women's Champions League Chrome Beth Mead to 99 parallel.
Yeah. Also.
We gave a Tobin Heath from the same set, gold to 50.
Yeah, big card.
Big card. We gave a Jude Bellingham 2021 Stadium Club base autograph.
Rookie auto.
Rookie auto. And we also gave the image variation
to 50
of that same
card. The iconic image variation.
Horizontal, big smile, rookie auto.
I would say a fan favorite.
Fan favorite, which we have had since
maybe a year.
And we've brought to many shows.
Everyone loves it.
It's probably one of our most commented on cards, one of our most picked up cards, looked at cards, all that. But we haven't made a deal on it.
Not even an offer did we get. We got a lot of people saying, what's the price? Give them the price, and they got scared. But they got scared. They didn't offer because they kind of knew that's a good price.
Also, on that side of the deal, with the Judes and the Arsenal ladies cards, was some cash.
£150.
150 Great British pounds sterling. So, this deal, we'll start with the reaction from the people.
Can I just say, before that, when that deal was finished, you did turn your head and said, wait, did we give cash or did we get cash? And I was like, no, we gave cash. And you were like, okay.
Oh, I was like...
Because it's a borderline deal. It is.
And we'll explain...
We'll explain the reasoning.
The thinking behind this. Let's go to the reaction, though. So I put it on Twitter, I said, rate this trade. Jake the mailman comes in. He says, I would rather have the Haaland more than any of the others, but that's just me. 8 out of 10. Oh, thanks, Jake.
Okay.
Rio says, rough one for whoever gave up the Judes.
That's us. Rough one for us.
The tummy stick says, and cash, you got cooked.
Fair.
Aiden says, Jude side cooked.
We're getting cooked.
Oh
my god.
Officially, girl dad says, I would say 6.5, but you got the best card in the trade. 6.5 out of 10, but you got the best card in the trade.
You're saying the Haaland's the best card overall, but not a great trade.
Not a great trade, but you did well to. Chris says, meh.
Yeah.
Matt Wetzel says 9 out of 10 for the Jude side.
That gives us a 1 out of 10, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the points I shared, but
it's not a Venn diagram.
Jude autos are more liquid to move quickly. Not in our experience, Matt.
Not in our experience, yeah, true.
And then JR says 3 out of 10.
I see a comment. Can we see if that's what's that comment?
I think that's officially the girl comes in and says colorblast is sick AF.
Fair.
So okay, JR also expands later and says Haaland colorblast is sweet, but I'm not a big RVP fan. Woso cards will be very liquid in the summer with the World Cup, and that Jude variation auto was one of my favourite cards.
That's it. Came down to that. In fairness, the Woso with the World Cup, we didn't factor that in. I didn't anyway.
No, but I did factor that in for a later trade for a Lena Oberdorf autograph.
We have a case of Woso that we should probably just open.
Or maybe wait for the summer.
Sure.
When it heats up. So, Enzo, you went on to say that people were killing us on this one.
Yeah.
And we got some expanded discussion. So, Foot Dad says, I'd say use one that. The Haaland Color Blast alone is worth like $1,200 for some raw, non-numbered Jude autos and a couple of chrome parallels. Assuming it's just, but not the variations of 50.
Yeah, people don't know that. I don't think there's a base variation. I think any variations of 50 or less.
And a couple of chrome parallels. Assuming it's just the cash I can count in the video that you handed over, which it was.
Yeah.
And then James says, PSA 10 premium and rarity of Color Blast easily have more significant value than the raw base autos.
And it's important to know, we were basing the Jude as a PSA 9 because there was a corner issue, the image variation, and we disclosed that to the person on the other side of the trade. Said I'd probably get 9, maybe an 8 because of the corner, probably a 9, but I think there's only 110. 9 overall have been graded, 110, 5 9s, and I think the rest were 8s or 6s.
Yeah. So how do you want to do this? You want to go through...
We'll go through valuation, I would say. Like off the bat, the two Wosos I had at €150.
Yeah. Okay, so for what currency are we going to use? We're going to use
euro.
Okay.
Because I don't know the dollars.
So, right, but for Americans, euros and dollars are roughly equivalent.
Very close.
Yeah.
Dollars are slightly more, but not much.
Yeah.
I had like the Tobin at 100 based on comps, and then the bet me at 50.
Yeah.
I had the normal standard Jude at 250 to 300.
So say 250.
Right, because 250 is kind of where I was because I didn't really think we'd get it.
So we're at 400 now.
We're at 400.
Yeah.
And then it just, for context, I get the 150 cash I did straight for the Van Persie. I had that at 150.
Just bought that for 150.
I was thinking everything else was for Haaland.
Okay.
And then it just came down. This is where like the roughness came from. It came down to this Jude because on eBay there was no comps. We all scoured for comps. 130 point. Center stage, the only thing that gave a comp, and that was $200.
And it's always very hard to. This haunts us at every show when we're doing our prep. You can never
love
find
it.
Yeah.
You can't find it. again, only 9 graded. There's 50 of them, but only 9 graded with PSA.
Mm-hmm.
The 8 pure on PSA, to see if any have sold. None had sold on PSA.
Right.
There used to be comps on eBay, but I think after a few months,
Yeah.
they disappear. I don't know. It's really weird. I used to see comps that they discard.
I think the old comp was like €700
Yeah.
or something.
So it came down to how do you value that Jude, and like that Jude is one of the coolest cards made in the last few years,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the most desirable. Jude stock only goes up, but it kind of came down to how confident are we that we had a price at £1,000 for context, but I think our low was 750.
Mm-hmm.
But we never came close to getting that offer. If we sent it to if someone the other guy basically said if someone sends one of these cards to auction, he felt it would end at $700, and at that point there is a comp for that card, and then he's going to get a bit cooked. And it just came down to the Haaland is a PSA 10. It's standardized. It looks like it'll be a fairly easy 1,000 to 1,200. Some are 1,003, 1,004. I kind of felt like maybe the value is less, but I think which one of those would we turn it to 1,000 quicker? And it's the two we picked up, I think.
So there's right.
That was my thinking. But I missed that Jude. It was beautiful.
There's liquidity involved.
Yeah.
There is also, I think, an underrated factor, which is the PSA 10.
Yeah.
Because the PSA 10 is actually like you're buying. First of all, you're buying the grade that is PSA 10, but also you're buying the surety of here's how much this is worth. This is a countable number.
Yeah.
The Jude being raw, it's like even if you did find a comp for PSA 10, you'd then have to try and work out a multiplying factor.
It's only one PSA 10, by the way.
So like it's. I viewed it as maybe today, if you totted it all up, but it's also you're totting it up. What are you totting up? You're totting up eBay sales, so you take away 13% from all the.
Yeah, shipping. Like that. There's a Haaland colorblast from 2020 that finished on January 9th and did $1,300.
Yeah,
and that was shipping from Sri Lanka.
Right. So I think basically it comes down to what did we want, and we have been to enough shows with those Jude autographs,
and like a lot of English shows.
And Jude is incredibly popular, obviously with England fans.
Facts.
But those cards, like cards in the kind of £50 to £200 range, do really well in London. We've found.
Yep.
But then once you go kind of above that, for most people, I mean, that's the same probably at every. I don't know why I'm saying in London. Probably at every show in America, it's the same. But maybe it's scaled down, if you know what I mean. So like obviously at every show, the more expensive you go, the fewer people there are interested.
Supply and demand. They still go down. Big deals still go down, but it's harder.
Yeah, and Jude was in that point where like it's not a PSA 10. It's not even PSA 9. So
could be a PSA 9. Like if you grade it, it's literally
it's
raw.
not great. It's literally raw. So it doesn't even have that, like that reduces its liquidity.
Yeah, and if people want to buy it, they know they have to go through the work of grading it. Like we were going to grade it, we just didn't get around to it. We have a PSA submission being built, and we're going to do it all together, but we didn't.
Yeah. So overall, I think what we traded from was instead of trying to find 4 deals, to just finding 1 deal.
2. Oh well, yeah.
I'm counting the cash.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So that's what it was.
I just felt like both of the Judes were just out of the price range of the people that wanted them. Even the one at 300. A lot of people asked for all of those cards, so it was a case of we had to reduce our asking price for it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think the Robin Van Persie in that deal is underrated. That got picked up a lot. We put that on the table. A lot of people wanted it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that comes down to people that watched football prior to the hobby booming, and in recent years, like Robin Van Persie is kind of one of the last players of that previous generation, I would say. And there's a lot of nostalgia, especially in the UK, for him, and a lot of people wanted that card. And 2015, you can't really. All of the top cards are modern. That's a 2015 card, which is still modern, but it's it's early modern.
Yeah,
I loved it. I liked it. And in fairness, it was very like it wasn't. People saying you got cooked was crazy. I thought. Now, could you get 1,000 for that Jude? Potentially,
but you'd have to.
You have to know the buyer. You'd have to get. It's a big deal to get that done.
Yeah. So I think that the Haaland is more internationally marketable. Because no matter where you go, this is one of the things that comes up in conversations about grading companies, for instance. Where it's like people talk about using smaller grading companies.
Yeah.
And I often say, if it's for your personal collection, do whatever you want. But if it's a card you ever want to sell,
move as you please.
It doesn't. If you like how it looks and it fits your wallet, whatever.
Do it.
But when it comes to grading, if you're thinking about selling, and this happened a couple of times, people coming up to us with certain slabs at the show. It's like, this is not standardized.
MGC is the hardest slab to crack. So even if you have an MGC and I think I can open it and sell it raw, I don't even bother because they're so airtight.
What's the easiest slab to crack?
SGC.
SGC.
I've never cracked a PSA or a BGS.
Right.
So.
Okay. But yeah, it's like, so this is the anyways, that's why we're thinking.
That was what went through. I think people...
Also, I will say this.
Yeah.
I hope from this podcast, because I think one of the reasons why, if you look at this deal in isolation, if you look at any of these deals in isolation, there's always ways to maximize, to say, well, in an ideal world, you wouldn't do this and you do that, but I think when you're doing like a whole weekend, you're doing X amount of deals.
Yeah.
It's kind of swings and roundabouts a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you win some, you lose some, you keep going.
Yeah, some are down, some are up.
Yeah.
You get cooked, in fairness, sometimes. But I think, there's something to be said about, I don't know, I can't remember exactly who the person was we did that deal with. He was American.
I remember who it was.
Great. But to be honest, when I say remember, I know exactly, if I seen him again, I know who he is, whatever. I just don't know where he's from. I didn't ever
have that
conversation.
Do you want me to say or no?
No, I don't.
Okay, fine.
I'm not trying to say it's on the top of my head. I'm just saying it was also just like I had never done it. I don't think I'd ever done a deal with him before. Can you clarify?
No, we briefly, I think, met or were around each other at trade night at the National in the lobby of the hotel that time.
Okay, great. But for me, it was just like, this is an American guy. He's over here. Let's just get a deal done. Why not?
Yeah,
it's like not networking, but like.
But going back to that thing,
we're at a show to get deals done. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I mentioned it earlier about having to disappoint people, and I think so oftentimes because people come up with their cards, and that might be the only deal they do all show.
Yeah.
So they're coming to the show specifically to get a deal done for this. So they're in the mindset of, I need to maximize here, and so, but whereas we're in the mindset of, I have to keep moving here. So I'll give you, I
have to keep going.
I have to keep going. So I'll give you that, but I'm not gonna. It's like, I can't stand here all day arguing about this deal with you. And it's like, once we decide we want to get this deal done,
let's just try to get it
done. Let's get it done.
For me, I didn't want to give the 150 cash. I wanted 100.
Right.
And when he said 150, it was literally like, I knew I should have counted 120, 125, but I was just like, let's just get it done.
Let's just get it done.
Let's just do.
So anyway, I think all in all, we can safely say we didn't get cooked.
I don't think so. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. As I said, I think we'll get to 1,000 faster than we would have with the Jude, based on the fact that we've had that Jude for so long. Now, having said that, we never put the Jude on eBay.
No.
But there's various reasons why eBay doesn't fully function for Irish people at this moment in time.
So, what's left to say on the podcast? Oh, just that some very exciting things. There were some professional footballers walking around.
Strolling around.
Doing deals.
I didn't know them all. I did a deal with one man and you told me it's from Blackburn.
There was also a conversation you were having with somebody else where you said, I don't know who that is. And I interrupted you. I said, you do know who that is. We've covered him on the podcast several times.
Yeah, I got cooked. That's when I got cooked.
And you said, oh, it's the podcast.
I don't even listen. I'm on my phone. I'm like, Jason, I'm looking up pop reports of this Haaland.
That's what happens. You got to pay attention.
Trying to figure out.
People write very positive reviews about what they hear. You're not even listening and you're hearing it live.
But I'm trying to figure out.
We've moved on.
I'm trying to see the APR on this Haaland.
All right, never mind.
Before you cut it off, I just want to...
Tosin Adarbayo is there, who has Tosin Collectibles on Instagram. And then a couple of boys from Blackburn Rovers who had been playing Watford, I think, at the weekend. That's why they were in the London area. We had Bradley Dack. We had Ben Burton Diaz. And we had...
Who did we do the deal with? Who bought a box office?
I don't know.
I thought it was Diaz, but I don't know. For context, Jason, September... The Haaland we traded into did $1,500 in a PSA 10. And more recently, in October, but that's not that, more 4th of October. So the American dates, I thought this was April. 1,350. So its peak value was 1.5. The most recent value was 1,350. We probably get 1,000, 1,200 for that. And to be honest, that could be one for the National.
Yeah. And
that's it. We're at the National. If we're producing a Haaland PSA 10 and it's a colorblast, that ticks a lot of boxes. We'd get 1,000 all day for that. We'd be asking for 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. They'd say, I can do 1,000. Like the Lewandowski Kaboom. You get a deal done for a card like that.
Yeah.
There you go, people. Whereas with the Jude, they'd be telling us it's raw.
And can I say, when we were at the National doing the deal for the Lewandowski Kaboom, we were on the other side of that. We were not yet veterans, and so we were standing there, and we let a deal for Lewandowski Kaboom go to didn't happen because of maybe $100 or $150. They said we give you we wanted 1,000.
Yeah,
maybe we give you $850, and because in our minds that's one of the 2 deals we might do, or it might be the only deal we do. So we're like, no, I can't, because you see, I have this car and I need,
I need it.
Whereas to them, they're like, man,
But the National felt like, I don't know, the National felt busy. Like, I imagine going this year, I can't imagine getting a lot of deals done on the other side of the table. Trade night is the only place I'd see deals done for myself. I don't, unless I see something I really want.
Yeah.
I say, would you do partial trades? Maybe that's the way to do it. Trade cash, boom.
Trade cash, boom.
That's it.
So anyway, thanks to the London Card Show for a great weekend.
Yeah, thank God.
Thanks to everyone that came up and said hello to us at the table. If you bought something or if you didn't buy something,
thanks for everyone that tagged us all over social media. I'm going to try get into that now today. Share what we've been tagged in.
And we will be back on the road again for more card shows throughout 2023, but more importantly, back on Thursday for another podcast.
Boom. See y'all later.